Hello, this is Gene. I think I'm going to start a new little episode called The Beer Chronicles. And I'm going to start it with some Yingling Light. Let's see if I can do this. And this episode is going to be talking about Generation X. Are we really great as everybody thinks we are? Now, I'm a little older Generation X person. I was born in 1965, so I'm like at the end of that um, generation. I clearly claim it. I'm not a boomer. My parents were boomers. I'm a Generation X. Um, However, what I've noticed online, especially on TikTok, when I go on there, there is a whole section of Generation X people coming out saying that we didn't care about anything. That we just um, there's comics out there talking about it, and that we drank water out of the hose. We didn't care about race or anything like that. Um, Basically, we're just feeling like we're the best generation of all time. And at some point, I need to just maybe backtrack on that. Where have the Generation X people been with all the culture war that's happened in the last 10, 20 years? That they allowed it to happen. Right now, my generation is in that age group that basically runs everything. We're entrenched into everything, and we have a lot of power. Um, we're a little bit high with that demo they talk about, like 25 to 44. So we're like at the end of that. Um, but where were we when all this shit happened? Uh, Black Lives Matter, transgender stuff, CRT. Where were we there? It seems like the younger generation is doing things for that. So before we pat ourselves on the back about how great we were, and in a lot of ways we were. We didn't have to deal with the internet. We played at night. Um, we didn't really worry about anything. We didn't really look at race as anything. If you were a good person, you would be friends with somebody. I mean, we had class systems in high school just like everybody else. If you didn't look right, I mean, I was a little bit overweight. What I consider now is I would be considered at the top 10% of people in the United States. We didn't have 70% of the people were overweight. In the 1980s, when you're in high school, if you're like two or three people that were just people that are just carrying a little bit of weight, which I did. Uh, Everybody else was thin, and we've allowed all this to happen. We allowed the government to just change what we eat. We allowed them to take away our privacy. We did the Patriot Act. We were behind all that. People talk to boomers and how bad the boomers are. Well, Generation X has been in charge for a while, and we haven't done a very good job. We raise kids that have um, they have no thin skin at all. They can't deal with any offense whatsoever. They're soft. We were the parents that raised these people. So when you see people on TikTok saying we were such a great generation, well, we can't say anything about Generation X because we just don't care. Well, is that a good thing that we don't care? All the shit that's happened in the last 15, 20 years, regardless of what side you're on, because I'm a Democrat my entire life. I don't know what I am now. I can't really vote for Republicans because there's nobody there. They're all spineless. They won't do what's necessary for this country. I think that most people my age thought that America First is a good thing. Of course, when Trump ran, it became a racist thing. And where was all the Generation X people saying that's not stupid, that's not wrong? I mean, if you're a Democrat, you always believe in labor and have factories in the United States and have good jobs for people from the United States. But now, if you say America First, it's now Hitler. And where were we there? So it's funny when I hear that we're supposed to be this great generation, because, like I said, we got water out of a hose, that we played out till the street lights came on, that we didn't have the internet, we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have Twitter. We had to deal with shit. We stayed up. We stayed out late. We had drive-ins, and all those things are great. It's all it's great, and it makes us who we are. But we have no really morality or moral compass when it comes to what's going on right now, because we have a position right now to stop it. I always thought my generation's more common sense, because when I was a Democrat, I used to say this all the time: I support a team, I support a party that is pro-science, and we see what's happening in the left right now. They look at things that's just clearly true, and they somehow use an ideology, whatever it is, intersectional feminism, or queer theory, or CRT, or even the climate change. They don't. They just don't look at real facts. Even abortion, for that. I mean, I guess when I was growing up, you would say, okay, if you're having an abortion, and I still hear this from people from the left, my wife being one of them. She says, well, what about the people that get raped when they're young or something like that? And I'm like, it's only less than 1%. We should not make policies for the 1%, and we're doing it everywhere. 1% of people are transgender. We have to change everything for you with it. Now we're seeing a little bit of a seed change with that, but are those people that are Generation X that are doing anything about it, or are we so ashamed because we allowed it to happen? Yeah, we can like I said, we can just pass ourselves on the back, saying that we're cool and all this shit, that we didn't need mom and dad around the house because we're all latchkey kids. I was one. I had nobody at home, so I did pretty much everything I wanted to do. So I was independent. And as you can hear, my dog is now barking at night in the house. So let me go ahead and see if I do something with her, because she's like 100 years old. So I'll be right back. I'm back. I mean, she's an old golden retriever. She's probably 16, 17. And there's going to be some decisions about her in the future. But she still gets up and does things. So I'm not gonna do anything like that yet. She likes to get out and do stuff, and always wags her tail. So, and I told her I let her sit out this afternoon. Because it's nice out here. Of course, now it looks like she wants to go inside. What do you want? Come on, go. Go lay down. Go lay down. Anyway, what I was saying is that we've lost all this bravado of being Generation X. And what have we actually done? We allowed all this shit to happen. And when we were supposed to be the common sense generation because we were independent, that we believe in science and all this stuff, and then we just say, oh well, we got to believe that women can be men and men can be women, and that we allow this shit to happen. And then when you see people from CEOs of certain corporations that they're just bow down to diversity, inclusion, and equity, and most of us are all white. I mean, we are. I mean, people are born after 1965. Still about 85% of them are white. So I was like I said, I'm an older generation person. So when I grew up, there's about 89% of the people in the United States were white. And of course, that's changed 100 times, in the last 50 years. People around 60% of the country is now white. Now, you can say what you want to say about that. Me bringing it up, is that racist? This country, it was always a super majority white nation. It's not that anymore. And they're still asking for more diversity, only on areas that white people dominate. They don't just do it for other things. They just do it where usually white men dominate, that they have to have more diversity in those areas. And then you have this idea that certain people that look white are also white. And then it's just like this morning on Twitter, there was this person saying that Jews are actually white, and she's talking about how this happened because they came from the same area as we did and all this stuff. And I'm like, so now they want to be white. If you have the same conversation with another one, they'll say, I'm not white. And they'll use that. They'll use the whatever that privilege of being white in the United States is. And then if something happens, then they just, oh, wait, I'm a minority. I am a Jew. I am a victim and all this shit. So it's one of those weird things, you know, and I said, and I've been a liberal all my life. I never really looked at people on the basis of their skin color. I'm sure that's a scam thing. Always happens this time, and it is. So I'll let that go to voicemail. I think my dog wants to go inside, so I'll be right back again. This is not going that well. All right, go inside. Go. Thought you wanted to lay out. Go. Sorry, the sun is not shining as much for you. Interesting. I just got a poll from Florida. Now, I don't live in Florida anymore, so I'm sure it's somebody from a Democratic thing asking me a question, so I'm going to see what it says. Ask me if I can do a quick poll. I'll do it one while we're here. So, is it working? Anyway, oh, here it goes. So, there's a lot of issues right now, and the question is, what can we actually prioritize is what's more important for this country. You know, I think the border is one of those things, and how it leads to everything else. I think the demographics is an issue in this country. I think this country should be majority white. And again, you can call me whatever you want to do. We created the country. I don't care about that we took land from indigenous people. I don't care. We conquered it. We had our own sets of rules and laws. We named a country. We made it United States of America. We are the creator of what we already know. I can't go back to ancient history. There might be other group that was here that had it before us, but right now we were, and we should not lose that heritage. And as you can see, we've seen this with like the statues being thrown down, all this stuff, because apparently you can't have slaves 300 years ago because you're white, even though every race already had that. So what is the priority? I think it's probably to stop this diversity, inclusion, and equity, and just get rid of that. Call it what it is. It's segregation for other people, or affirmative action for other people, not based on anything. Get all the factories back in the United States. Build everything here to give us good paying jobs. That's my old liberal side coming out. Pay down the debt. Make the military smaller. And do better things and other things. I don't believe in climate change. I think the sun basically dictates what happens to us as humans, that we can be better stewards of the earth. If you believe in God, he says we're supposed to do that. So we should. If we have the ability to make it nicer and less polluted, we should do that. But we should not be forced to pay for other people around the world who are not doing the same thing that we're doing. And we need to stop AI as much as we can. And we got to bring back the family. We have to have some sort of incentive for people to have babies. I don't really care what color they are, but I want intact nuclear families back. And the fact that where were all these Generation X people when Black Lives Matter came out and on their website said they wanted to dismantle the idea of the nuclear family? All these people grew up in the same thing. they grew up in a nuclear family. A lot of people say that Generation X is probably the most level-headed of all the generations that are left. So why would you not want that to continue on? Everybody knows the best outcome generally is if you have a mother and a father in the house. Obviously, you don't want. Good God! I get so much of this scam during the day, and I end up blocking it, but they still call me. So let's just see what a couple of these questions are. First, you see again, I had a stroke, so I can't really read what I'm saying here and come out well. It says, how you favorably or unfavorably, how are you toward the person or group? So the first person that comes up is Joe Biden. Now, I will put very unfavorably because he is a charlatan. He's a racist. I don't care about the dementia shit. We all knew he was stupid before. This guy is not good for the United States, and he is a blank check for diversity, inclusion, equity, CRT, transgender, all the stupid shit that makes absolutely no sense in a civil society. He's like, go ahead, I'll just fucking pay for it. And his handling of Afghanistan, the pullout, and Ukraine, and I know that the man is the biggest, most corrupt, probably politician in my lifetime. Now it says, what do you think about Walmart? I'm just going to put, I'll just say somewhat unfavorable. What I think of Google, same thing, unfavorable, because you know what they do with our data. They sell it, and then of course you see it. If you go on a website or something under Google, and you're just looking at something, guess what? You get it in your Facebook, you get ads for that stuff, and they also listen to you. And I worked in space, and I also worked the Intel guys. We actually record shit like this, and it's not good. What else is it at? What I think about Amazon? I was put somewhat favorable because even though they make billions of dollars, and I'm not a big fan of Bezos, they have a lot of stuff, and you can use that to get prices down wherever you go. It started out as a good thing. So I'll just give it, because I use it all the time. I can't really say it's unfavorable when I use it all the time. So what's next? CEO of Walmart. I don't really give a shit about him. I don't give a shit about him. So now, the CEO of Google is Sundar Pichai. She is one of the most racist, leftist person out there. She said many bad things about white people because apparently we're the worst people of all time. Other than the fact that we're the most virtuous ever. And we spend more money on charity. We do more shit than anybody other group does. But still, maybe it's because all of our blood says that we colonized all these people all our entire life, when we've always been the one that we're kind of like a slave. You know, that Slavic shit. Anyway, I'm going to say favorable, unfavorable. Keep going. I have no idea if Google's a good employee. I don't know. Care. This appointment, this thing is like, do they take care of their appointments? I don't care about this. So I thought it was going to be a little bit more political. The first one was Joe Biden, so I thought they were going to actually go down that. Maybe later on they are. I don't. It's like I started this whole thing with, and hopefully I'll keep it on. I'll keep talking about this in the future. And this one's about Generation X, okay? And I'll talk about other things in the future. And if anybody who ever watches this wants to give me any feedback and things that you want me to talk about, I will. It's funny, you know. And I know that TikTok is not everything. I don't know Twitter is not everybody. But when you see stuff and how that we're, like I said, Generation X is just continually patting ourselves on the back. And we're not any better than the boomers. We're not any better than the millennials, generation, or the zoomers, the Ys, whatever they are. We're no better than they are, because we raised a lot of these guys, and they see what's going on, and they're trying to change it. And they've been told all life that they're not going to Social Security when they're our age and all this stuff like that. So, again, that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and stop right now because all I'm doing is rambling. But just let me know if you think this is a good thing, and I'll try to do this once a week. The Beer Chronicles, Episode 1, Generation X. We're not as great as we think we are. You guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.